What's up, everybody? Cappuccino, Tim Paul here from Around the Piano. We are on our way to NAMM. We just landed in California. I mean, look at, no more snow. To Chicago, and it's going to live it up in the sun a little bit. Stay tuned for some great content coming around the corner. See you then.
Later.
With a heartbeat rhythm, we're lost and found. From the corner of the room shines a wooden heart. That piano calling us, let's make a start. Fingers on the keys, feel the magic flow. It's a rock and roll spirit, come on, let's go. So bring that music from around the piano. Let the melodies dance, let the good times flow. With every note we play, we ignite the night. Underneath the stars, everything feels right. Gather around the piano.
NAMM 2026, first episode, probably 3 to 4 parter here at Around the Piano. Got the crew at the table. What a great time we had.
Good stuff, right?
Oh my goodness gracious! That was better than the year before, and next year will be even better.
Even
we got
better.
So much to go through for this year.
Yes. So we're thinking, today we have a Ed Bazel interview, and then Jason couldn't make it, so he's got off-site video he submitted to us that we're going to play today. And, stay tuned, folks. We got a lot of content coming around the corner in some of these parts. We got Table Talk, the Risco's interview, just bands from the stage. Obviously, Thomas Claxton and the All-Star Band.
Yeah, and also band Allison from The Voice.
Yes.
We talked with her and caught some footage of her concert. Exciting thing.
Lots of odds and ends, too, that are in there. A lot of footage to go through.
That's another hugely successful and even bigger NAMM, I think, this year.
It really was.
It was. I mean, listen, it was crowded, right?
It certainly was.
It was fun because we always have an elevator experience with Deke.
We
Always a good one.
we take
Indian
separate
food.
elevators.
There was,
now.
literally.
Indian food
literally.
was bad, yeah.
I want to say, for me, what was one of the funniest parts that you got to see at the NAMM Show?
Oh boy, one of the funniest
Yeah.
parts at the NAMM Show. Watching you waiting in line to get me a cup of coffee.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was actually kind of
45 minutes later.
It was
Yeah,
45
that was
minutes.
fun.
And I made everybody laugh in
You
there.
did.
I did. I was a little bit crazy. What about you, Deke?
Well, I experienced this by myself. It was your room and suite was on the 5th floor, and I think ours was on the 6th. Nico's and mine, and I was in a tussle, whatever, right? And we've been working, and it's crazy. And a lot of times we would gather at your suite because we could shoot some videos and things like that. So I jump on the elevator. And they go 5th floor, so I just I get out of the 5th floor, but knowing that I have to go to my room, so I go to I'll just say 5024 or whatever our room number was on the 6th floor, and I'm sitting at somebody's door trying to using my card. It's not working. Maid walks by. She goes, "Oh, you having problems?" I said, "I just need an extra towel." So she gives me a towel. So I'm standing there with a towel, and I'm like, the thing's turning yellow, and I'm like, what is going on? And I'm looking at the card, shaking it, wiping it off as if that does anything. And I'm like, tick, 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 and I look, and I'm like, oh, I'm a floor down. So then I've got this brand new towel, and I'm just walking back.
And you weren't even drinking.
No, I wasn't.
yeah.
Just tired, I'm sure.
I wasn't, just exhausted. And I was starting to get mad, like, you got to be kidding. Get the phone out, try the phone thing. And I'm just like, what is happening right now?
No,
and then I look at it, I'm like, wrong floor.
I did notice one thing about this show, and every show. You guys always go to bed way before I do.
I know.
I don't
I know.
get that. Yeah.
We're the old timers in
Yeah.
that scenario, aren't
6
we?
o'clock hits,
Yeah.
you're headed back to the room.
Absolutely, absolutely. For me, I think it was watching you eat wings with a fork and a knife.
Well, there was that.
I was. What are you doing? Be a man. Pick those up. He was trying to be so polite about everything. I
Never
think
saw somebody eat wings like that.
No.
before. It was a first.
no. It's like watching somebody eat a candy bar with a fork and a
But
knife.
I did enjoy when I got done. I don't even know if you noticed, but I was able to wipe my hands on the back of your shirt.
Which is fine.
It's fine.
It's not that I have children, so that's normal.
So normal.
I think we're slowly turning him.
Yeah.
Which is the goal. Mission
Yeah.
check. So listen, without further ado, we have a few things. We saw some really cool things there. Some musicians just walking through the convention center. We saw things like this.
Or like this.
Tell me about the stick guy.
So Nico and I are going through the convention center, and there's a ton of, thousands, literally thousands of vendors and whatnot. And we're just cruising along, and all of a sudden we hear that interesting, and I've never seen an instrument like this. Literally looked like, as you saw, it looked like an instrument from Fat Albert and the Gang.
Yeah, that's right.
And he's just wailing on it. He's got the whammy, and he's putting it on it, and he's going to work on this thing and making really cool music. And Nico and I are just looking at him like, what is this?
Right. What is this?
And he's got a couple hanging there, for sale and all that good stuff. And, and people start gathering around and just like, this is crazy.
Right.
What is this?
Yeah.
And he just, as you saw, he got into it. And
Yeah.
it was crazy. But I
Interesting instrument too.
Yeah.
And we just interviewed not too long ago somebody.
Tom Greisberger.
Sure, you already butchered that up.
Sorry, Tom.
He is, and I guess there's only one or two companies that make these things.
yeah, that stick was cool.
Yeah.
Chapman Stick Company.
Yeah, Chapman Stick Company,
Give him a shout out.
which is really cool. He's very talented on that. And so as we move forward into, because time is a little limited here because of some of the interviews and stuff, but we're going to do an interview with Ed Bazel, and then we'll probably close out with Jason Paul. But tell us a little bit what you know in the world of piano with Ed.
With Ed is a fascinating piano player in person. He has a rich history in music, and I think one of the coolest stories that he told, which you're going to hear in a couple minutes here, is he actually recorded it at Abbey Road Studios.
That's right.
In England.
That's really cool.
And it was very cool because he's playing the same piano that Paul McCartney and John Lennon recorded on.
Just touching the history, right?
Yeah, just
That's got to be crazy.
That's really cool.
It is really cool. So I think everybody's going to enjoy that interview. And this is the second time we've had Ed on.
Yes.
And we'll probably have Ed on in the
Yes.
future. So
Yeah, great.
he's
Great
a
stuff.
great pianist, a very, very talented individual.
Shout out to the NAMM directors for allowing us to help them do interviews. So this interview was a joint interview for their history interview, right? Their
Exactly.
music of history
Yeah.
or whatever you call that.
It's the music, the NAMM Oral
History.
Project.
That's
Music
right.
Oral History Project.
So that's what this is from. We had Nico there behind the
did.
camera. We got to use some of their equipment, which was pretty cool. Looking forward to next year and helping them more if we can, because
Yeah.
that was
The,
pretty fun.
the amazing thing that struck me on Ed was his hands. He's got big
huge.
paws.
Yeah, he does.
And when you think of a pianist, you think of somebody with a little baby finger, skinny little things
Delicate,
like I have, right?
Is that what you think of on piano players?
Yeah.
Yeah, listen, you have sausage fingers. I don't know what you're talking about.
Right.
know,
but this guy, I mean, it looks like he, was a bricklayer for years and years. But just a remarkable pianist, this guy.
Yeah. It was so great interview. So stay tuned, folks.
Yeah.
Without further ado, Ed Bazel.
Okay, go ahead and state your name.
My name is Ed Bazel, Bazel, and I'm a pianist.
And I'm Tim Paul, and we've got Nico Motop producing, running the camera today. Mm-hmm. All right. Welcome, Ed, to NAMM Show
It's good to be here.
2026. This is awesome. I know we've got a lot of stories, a lot of things to cover, but before we start, let's tell our NAMM audience a little background on Ed. Go from the very beginning and tell us how you became this wonderful pianist that we know you are.
It was my mother's bright idea. Okay, I had a sister, Patty, 3 years older. We would drive her to piano lessons, and then we would go to the library for 30 minutes, and then we'd go pick her up. Until my mother had the bright idea, if I drop both kids off, I'll have an hour of freedom. And so I started piano lessons at age 5. And I was forced to take lessons for 11 years and despised it. Oh my God. But it turned out to be, honestly, the best gift they've ever given me. And I still thank them nightly when I play, because I admire their tenacity. Although I'm out as a kid on the streets playing football with my neighborhood buddies, and my mom sticks her head out the door and says, "Eddie, time to practice piano." And I'm like, oh, God. But again, turned out I ended up, with an amazing music career. So piano lessons, blah, blah, blah. I have a business degree and a computer programming degree. And then I told my parents, I'm going to play the piano for a living. And once they released the chokehold on me, I said, it's because you forced me to take lessons for 11 years. So I was a pianist for, 15 years professionally. I was in my hometown of Huntington, West Virginia, and then Lexington, Kentucky, and then out in LA. And I was named by a newspaper as the best pianist in downtown LA. I think I was the only one that was in downtown, but
still makes you the best.
There you go. But I was playing the Ritz-Carlton, the Beverly Hills Country Club. I was playing the Sheraton Universal, all these different, Queen Mary in Long Beach. I made a living with my hands and my soul, which was amazing. Yeah. And then I'll just fast forward. I'm not a me, look at me type of guy, but I'll just share the rest of the story. My daughter was born, so I ended up becoming, the more I was in the agent's office to collect a paycheck, the more they would call me. So I thought, I've got a computer programming degree, why don't I create a database for them? So fast forward, I did that. I became the general manager of the agency. And then I ended up answering a fax from Beijing, China, wanting an American band. It was an expat American named Mike Winslow, a great guy. So we ended up sending the first American bands to Beijing. And then it opened up the Pacific Rim, Beijing, Hong Kong, Taiwan, Singapore, Kuala Lumpur, all these things. And it was amazing to travel there. The Los Angeles Times called me the Marco Polo of modern music. But I could take that to the grocery store and they'd say, that's great, but we still need cash.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
So anyway, I was a pianist for all those years, and then I became an agent and wanted to stay home with my daughter at night. Mm-hmm. And then I had an entrepreneurial seizure. And I thought, I can do this better if I open my own company.
I love it.
Yeah. Oh, God. Notice the gray hair. I opened my own company to produce concerts for corporations. Okay. And I'm just stunned to have worked with people like, Bad Company, the Beach Boys, Charlie Daniels, Danny Glover, Eddie Money, Frankie Valli, Foreigner, Huey Lewis and the News, Starship, Survivor, it goes on and on. And I would send pictures home to my mom with the meet and greet. I'd always be the one taking pictures. And then the last one, I'd say, hey, I need to get a picture with you. For Frankie Valli, I said, Frankie, I need to get one more picture with you. And I held up a sign, and we got the picture, printed it, sent it to my mom, and it said, Irene, you're just too good to be true. and she stopped asking me to get a real job, but for decades, a real job, and I couldn't. I have a drop to my knees, I'm not kidding you, thank the heavens above passion for beautiful music. And I truly, no joke, I feel like the luckiest man alive to have had the career I've had.
Well, it's a fascinating journey that you've taken. You took your first 11 years, you're forced to play piano, so the passion wasn't there yet.
No, not at all.
So the passion comes after that. You become this pianist, you've got a degree in computer technology, and instead of using that at that time, you're going to be a piano player.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, you go into the booking agency and you work with all these wonderful names that you mentioned that everybody knows.
I was stunned. I would never think this, but it's just amazing. And I still, to this day, thank the heavens above that I'm doing this. Fast forward, COVID happened, and it killed the concert industry completely. So, and I wasn't up on doing virtual events, not my thing. So I went back to the piano. And I would do that even before COVID, running an agency in Nashville on Music Row, which was cool because across the street and down a building was RCA Studio B, and that's where Elvis recorded his hits. And Are You Lonesome Tonight? And then the studio, hey, I'm driving down the street there, and there's Tony Bennett hanging out in front of the studio. And I'm like, oh, this is so cool. So
that is very cool.
But so the stress of running an agency, I would go back to the piano and play at night. On a side note, I used that computer programming degree again, and I thought, why not create an online radio station? So I did, and it's called the River of Calm, -music to soothe your soul, but riverofcalm.com. It brings calming music to a stressed out world, which was actually a stressed out me. And we had 10 songs. It was me and Eric Bikalis, who was Neil Sedaka's musical director. So we had 10 songs and 2 listeners. That the listeners were me and my dog. I'm not kidding you. So, and now fast forward, we're heard in 216 countries. I have about 125,000 listeners a month. Over 300 independent artists, but all that is interesting. But the most important thing is we donate headphones from a project called Alive Inside, which is a beautiful Sundance Film Festival winning documentary about a physician who put headphones on dementia patients playing music from their high school years, and to watch them wake up was stunning.
Absolutely.
Stunning. So I called the executive director of that. We used their headphones filled with 7 hours of music from the River of Calm, and we donate them to chemotherapy centers. Just as a way, I think it's the highest and best use I can do, or as musicians we can do, to calm others during a very surreal time.
I love that. We have family personal experience with that. And we understand and know what music means in memory care. Mm-hmm. And for you to donate and put something into that, that's giving back to the community, not only the music community, but all of humanity. And it's so important.
It's the right thing to do. And again, I'm not, look at me, I'm, look at all I could care less about
Nobody
that.
knows that you're doing that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, we're sending them out. The last batch went to retired Navy SEALs in San Diego who have cancer. And then my tie to this is my mom, dad, and sister all died from cancer-related causes. And lastly, a weird thing. When my dad had leukemia, I couldn't help him. There's nothing I could do to help him. So I created a fundraiser for a place called the City of Hope. That's out here in Duarte, California. They specialize in cancer research. It involved me and a buddy of mine at the end of the Santa Monica Pier, riding bicycles to the end of the St. John's Pier in St. Augustine, Florida, to raise money for the City of Hope. That was 8 states, 215 cities and towns, 3,000 miles in 44 days, averaging 88 miles a day. And believe me, these headphones are much easier than doing that for cancer.
Sure.
So anyway, so that, and then lastly, and then I'll shut up, please. Let's talk about you. The COVID happened, so I started back at the piano. I thought I'm at least going to record an album just for posterity. So I did one in Nashville, and then I did another one in my dining room, which Alex Carter, who's my recording engineer, did a great job with. Then lastly, I thought, wouldn't that be cool to go to Abbey Road? So I called them, and it took about a year of persistence, and I got 2 days in June, and I said, I'll take them. And I had tears in my eyes. I'm not kidding you.
That had to be a fabulous experience from start to finish.
Incredible. I mean, incredible just to see. I can't begin to. I was in Abbey Road Studio 2, and that's where the Beatles recorded all their hits. And when you open the door from the control room into the studio, it's like the size of a basketball gym at least. There's a certain vibe there. I can't explain. And I'm not a weird guy, but there's a vibe there. It's almost chilling, to the. And then fast forward, I've recorded 6 albums there now. And they're all solo piano albums. We add violin and cello later. But to go from the control room, I'm the only guy walking down those stairs into that room for all this. And there's the Steinway D piano there with 21 microphones. There's nowhere to run and hide.
No.
But there's still that wooden floor, herringbone floor. And I'm just like, this is incredible. I thank my parents above. They're long gone. And I wore my dad's cufflinks.
There you go. That's a tribute.
Yes, it is. And lastly, out of this, these albums are getting really unexpected attention and awards.
Well, I was going to bring that up, and it's humbling for you to say unexpected. I don't think it's unexpected.
I do. I never sought out this. Yeah.
But I've listened to some of the albums, and the awards are well deserved. But tell everybody what those awards actually are. There's a lot of them.
There's a ton of them. I have 11 Global Music Awards. This past year, go figure, I won Josie Awards, Pianist of the Year, alumni. I won the Elite Music Awards, Musician of the Year. I'm up for 3 World Entertainment Awards. I already have 2. I just got 9 nominations for the New Age Notes radio station on 3 of my songs, and it goes on and on and on. I mean, I never expected this, and I'm not looking for attention. It's just, the best word I could say is validating. Malcolm Gladwell once wrote a book, and he said it takes 10,000 hours to be an expert at something. And I added up, approximated the number of, lessons that I've had, the hours out that I played. And by the way, for each Abbey Road session, I practice 6 months in advance every day. I practice each song once a day for 6 months, so that when I show up, it's just another day of playing.
Sure.
And there's no, oh my God. Elton John said it was terrifying when he was a studio musician there. But for me, it's just another day. I was on a roll with something, damn it. But, yeah.
No, well, we were talking about the awards.
Yeah, just stunning that these are happening. And, Yeah, in 2 weeks on the 31st, we're at the Whiskey A Go Go, which is in Hollywood for the World Entertainment Awards, and that place, the Doors used to be the house band there. So I'm still looking at myself. How did this ever happen? So but I
I think I can tell you for one thing, it happens because you're not doing it to make those things happen. You're doing it to put peace out into the world, to put music out into the world, and you're doing it all for the right reasons. So it's going to come back to you twofold.
Well, and I appreciate that. One other thing, at the Ralph's that I shop at, I know the woman supervisor there. I pull out my phone and say, "Hey, I just got 9 nominations, or I just won this. Can I get my groceries for free?" And she says no.
Didn't work, huh?
No.
But I admire you for trying to
Still
do it.
doesn't work, yeah. So
On a side note, you've got some really interesting stories. You've had some really, really interesting encounters. So we've got, there's a wonderful Rod Stewart story that you told me earlier. Tell everybody about Rod Stewart.
it was so cool. I'm the pianist at Michael's French Restaurant in Huntington, West Virginia. That was my first gig, and I have to thank Michael Bunting, the chef, for believing in me. So I'm playing away. It's Thursday night. It's about 10 minutes to closing time. And I'm playing here, and the back doors, or the front door is right here, and they go back. And the door opens, and I turn around, and it's Rod Stewart and his band coming to eat. They had a concert, and evidently they wanted to go to the best place in town. So I'm there for the next 2 hours playing, and with Rod Stewart and his band right there.
So did you play Maggie May?
No, I don't know what I played. I do have one thing. I was playing at the Hyatt Wilshire. I was the house pianist many years ago. And Stevie Wonder happened to be there. And he came down the elevator with his entourage. And so I broke into "You Are the Sunshine of My Life," the opening thing. It's chromatic and off. And he was walking towards the door, and I'm watching him, and he stopped and cocked his head. And then he turned and just left. I know he heard me, but the question is, did I screw up that intro? I still wonder to this day, because that was a real treat. I'm just, making it up as I go on.
Well, Stevie Wonder wanders around the NAMM Show every year, so maybe you stop him and ask
I'm
him.
going to say, this has been haunting me for 30-some
I
years.
must know.
So, being a pianist at all these hotels out in L.A., you see a lot of people. When I played at the Sheraton Universal, there's an old actor named Telly Savalas, Kojak, who he lived there. So he was down at the bar all the time. I once had a real cool thing with, I take my hat off to him, is a real music lover, LL Cool J. I was playing Moonlight in Vermont, someone to watch over me, and he was leaning on the piano just going, "Oh, man." And he said, "I got to take you home with me." Not for him and his lady friend, not for me. But I just admire him for stuff like that. And so I've had a lot of those things. Bob Hope's walking by. Joe Cocker sitting right there, stuff like that. It's really been amazing to be that close to those.
So when these musicians come in to a restaurant where you might be playing, and do you automatically think, I should play their songs or I should avoid their songs?
I would avoid their songs. I loved going deep into the Great American Songbook, Misty, Summertime, and all those things. And I don't know if anyone knows those songs, now, but thank you. Yeah. But anyways, it's just the love of music. And I've been so lucky, again, to make my living with my hands and my soul in the music business. My dad was an industrial engineer. He had a real job, and I haven't, and it's just amazing.
And you know what's funny? Musicians always say that when they're referring to anybody else who's working not in music, they have a real job, like this is a hobby.
This is a lot of work. Oh, I know what I was going to say to you.
Yes.
Malcolm Gladwell, 10,000 hours to be an expert. I added up all of my stuff, lessons, playing out for a living, 6 months of practice for each album. I think I have around 22,000 hours of playing. So
What makes you an expert then?
It just makes me a lucky man that I've been able to sit down and record and play as I have. Again, it's just an odd place to be, but I'll take it.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so now you recorded an entire Beatles album at Abbey Road. What is your favorite? I'm going to ask you this question in two different ways. What is your favorite Beatles song of all time?
That's a tough one.
How do you do that? Does anybody do that?
Yeah, no kidding. Well, I recorded two yesterday, and In My Life. I love In My Life. That I recorded that on the first album. Then I've recorded others. Now I have a total of 12 Beatles songs that I'm going to release a Beatles compilation. And if Giles Martin is listening, they have a Beatles biopic that they're releasing in 2028. And I think this music would be add a great touch to their movies. So anyways, that's my secret goal.
Okay.
And then I think In My Life or The Long and Winding Road. And it's one thing that's very interesting. I mentioned I'm in the studio as a solo pianist by myself and the 21 microphones. Everyone else is up in the control room having a great time and all that. For The Long and Winding Road, I brought my close friends that came with me down. There were 6 of them seated near the piano. So I thought that would be cool for them to be a part of the recording. But I noticed, as I played out for all these thousands of years, there was about 8% of my brain I could tell on the playback that was concerned about them,
Yep.
So I'm working on one project that this ties into. I have, with all these albums, I have 9 total recorded. I'm choosing the top songs that I like. For my stuff is melodic, thoughtful, romantic, and sometimes haunting. And thrash metal. No thrash metal.
That was a different era.
Yeah, that's true. And then I'm, thanks to a guy named David Fogel, who's Symphonina. He's very into symphony stuff. He brought up, why don't you get them, with an arranger and get them organized and write symphony, pieces to it. So we have on hold April 20th, in case you happen to be in London, Abbey Road Studio 2 and the London Philharmonic to record this.
Wow.
And for me, this is not, look at me, this is, there are men and women that have made billions of dollars and can leave their names on buildings and stuff. This is me leaving my name on something.
Mark on music.
Yeah, absolutely. So,
Well, this is music history, and you're adding to the music history of that studio when you do this.
I go figure. I never thought I would, but now it's like, yeah, I've been there 6 times. Anyway,
Well, the second part of my question was going to be, what is your favorite Beatles song to play? But I think you kind of answered that in your response to your favorite Beatle tune.
In My Life, I think is the
Yeah.
one.
It lends itself so well to piano. So
It
well.
does, and then you have to get George Martin's solo piece on that he sped up. Da 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 da. Yeah, to get that right, but I did, and it lends well to an acoustic piano.
It does.
And then I have, two a lovely violinist and cellist, Lauren and whatchamacallit. He'll come to me in a sec. But that they add just the right touch to my stuff. I'm not a player that plays with a metronome. My stuff is, melodic and flows. So, but the cello and Austin Hoke, thank you. And they do such a great job adding violin and cello to my
Let
pieces.
them count.
There you go.
There you go.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Because I can't.
Yeah.
It's just too confining.
Right.
Yeah. So,
Oh,
anyway.
that's fascinating. Okay, now, who is your favorite Beatle? It lends itself to ask you that. Can you do that? That's another tough one.
I like them each for their own thing. George Harrison for Something in the Way She Moves. Love that song. and he was the, a more quiet one.
Yeah.
Paul is everyone's, I think, normal favorite, but John Lennon, geez, yeah. And to record Imagine right there on the footprint where they did was, I can't
Playing
get
the
it.
same keys
Yeah.
that they use.
I'm good. I can't ask for a better life. Even with ups and downs and tumultuous stuff, I'm the luckiest guy alive.
It's a great answer. It's a great answer. If there's anything that your fans should know about Ed Bazel that they don't know, what would that be?
I can't
That
tell.
you can say.
Yeah, I can't tell you. I won't name the name of our band, but in high school in my senior year, nobody knew that I played the piano. And I wasn't a jock or anything like that, so I wasn't cool. Well, some of us guys put together a band, okay? And it started out with me in front of the curtain with a choir robe on, playing Love Story. Da 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 da. And the people are going like, what? And then I said, no, this isn't working halfway through. And I started snapping my fingers,
Yeah.
And then the drums started, and the curtains open, and these guys start coming out. And if you remember, at that time there was a band called Sha Na Na.
Yeah. Love them.
I worked with Bowser so many times on the concert side, but so we were that band, and we were Get a Job and all this, and I whipped off my choir robe, and there I'm in a muscle shirt and jeans and white socks and all that, and then we're playing, and the audience goes crazy. And okay, I will say it. All right, the name of the band was Johnny Flush and the Commodes.
All right then. All right.
It was so irreverent, but inside of, not being bad. And I never have seen such a response to music. We had like 21 standing ovations. And again, not, oh, look at me. That was my seminal moment when I saw the power of music and what it can do, and people, how they react.
Sure.
And fast forward 50 years since my high school, graduation, and people still ask about that band.
Well, I can see why they would. I'm never going to forget the name of your band.
But it was irreverent but fun.
Yeah.
And so anyway.
It's good marketing.
Yeah. Well, it was a lesson that, music is very powerful and it can move you. And the same thing with the River of Calm and the headphones for chemotherapy. I used to play piano in the Vanderbilt Cancer Center waiting room. They had a piano, and the River of Calm tuned it up, and I would rotate pianists out there. But when I played there, it was sobering to see people coming for chemotherapy, and that is as raw as it gets. And people would come up to me with tears in their eyes and say, "Thank you so much."
Sure.
And I was thinking of my parents,
Music has a healing power that doesn't get enough credit.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact you experience that when you do something like that, you see it firsthand, the effect that it can have.
Absolutely. And go figure, I'm playing somewhere over the rainbow, and this guy comes up to me with a mask on and starts playing the lead, and I'm like, okay, cool, and all that. Turns out that it was Lee Greenwood.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, because he was a former patient. And I was just like, wow, if music unites us,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
In ways that you don't see coming.
No kidding. And I'm so thrilled. If there's anything else, if I can donate, we have about 600 more headphones to donate to chemotherapy centers. But as the Wizard of Oz says, pay no attention to the man behind the curtain, because I can only do so much at a time.
Right.
I need help, or interns or something.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to help you with that.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're going to do that. We're gonna put some effort in it. If you've got that, we're gonna find places.
We
where you-
definitely have them, and it's a crime not to have them out there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
Explain how that works. So they got the headphones that they have your music programmed into the headphones. Is
From
that
the
correct?
River of Calm, the artists on the River of Calm, all independent artists. Some are Grammy winners, and each song on the River of Calm, there's about 1,500 songs on there. A lot more than the 10 that I started
That
with.
you started with.
But they're individually curated and by, they're acoustic, they're calming, and we don't have, ambient heavy synthesizer stuff. It's more acoustic stuff, but it just seems to calm. So out of that, we've chosen the music for the headphones, and there's 7 hours of it on the headphones, and all they need to do is be charged by the nursing station.
So again, the healing power of music.
Yes.
Yeah.
And if nothing else, if it can cut just that little bit of angst and just take them down a step, that I can't think of anything better.
You're going to make people's lives a little better who maybe they're clinging and looking for hope in any way that they can. And this might help give them a little more hope, which helps them to maybe heal.
Mm-hmm.
And
Right.
I think it will give them comfort.
Amen. Yeah. So music isn't all about look at me. It's healing and helping people.
100%.
Yeah. So
So on a lighter note, what's your favorite piano to play? Do you have one? Does it matter to you? Do you prefer Steinway, Baldwin, Yamaha, Kawai, or something else?
well, right now I am the global ambassador for Kaiserberg, which is an artist series made from artists for artists, and that's from Pearl River Piano, the largest piano manufacturer in the world. I recorded my A Weekend in Marin album at Skywalker Sound in Northern California. That one's just out now, and that's the one that's I just won or just got nominated 9 times.
Yes.
And 2 of my songs are for the World Entertainment Awards off of that too. So Kaiserberg is a great piano line, and then
I believe they're at the show.
they are. The Pearl River is at the show.
Will
Yeah,
you be playing?
I'll be stopping by after the interview. Absolutely.
Okay. Well, maybe we'll follow you over there and get a little video of you playing a little.
Never know.
You never know.
Yeah. So that, and then I do have to admit that Steinway D in Studio 2 at Abbey Road, there's something about it.
It's got a Beatles magic touch to it.
I'm telling you, it makes me sound better than I really am. So, yeah. But the bottom line is, for me, I'm not a flourishy, run up and down the board type of stuff. That's not my vibe. I just love the beauty of music and the silence between the notes also.
Right.
That just gets me, I'm telling you. So,
That's awesome. You've got a wonderful story, Ed.
Ah.
Thank you for sharing it with us. And we're going to have you again on Around the Piano podcast because I think there's no end to some of the stories that you've got.
I've got more, but that's for
Yeah.
another time. I'm thrilled to be here, and thank you for having me. I really appreciate this.
We appreciate you, and thank you for being here at the NAMM Show 2026.
That's right.
All right. Thanks, Ed.
My pleasure.
Well, Ed Bazel, man, what a great interview. Lots of information that went on there. Listen, as we draw this episode to an end, we're gonna go to Jason Paul, who couldn't make it here today. So today he's doing Jason Paul behind the drums and throwing out his 2 cents of NAMM. Until next time, guys, we're gonna end with that. But until next time, guys, stay tuned. We got a lot more stuff coming up. I can't wait. See you then.
Hi guys, sorry I couldn't be with you for this podcast, but I wanted to make a video to send to you guys to be included in the NAMM wrap-up podcast. So if you guys are around the piano, this is from Behind the Drum Set podcast. So NAMM 2026, wow, what a good time. Met some pretty cool people. And definitely got some interesting recognition. And I think start with that. Dad and I, we've been able to go to the NAMM Top 100 Awards for the past couple of years, and that's always an honor just to kind of get into that room and be a part of that recognition. And this year we were surprised by being in a finalist in the innovation category. And that was pretty cool. Don't think I'll ever forget the look on Dad's face when I look at him and said, "Do you know anything about this?" And he looks at me and says, "No, did you know anything about this?" And I said, "No." And I think that's really cool that we were recognized for that. I had to scratch my head a little bit about the innovation part of that, and then I kind of thought about it enough and said, well, innovation is really just, kind of meeting a need in the community and finding a new way to do it. And I think Piano Trends definitely does that. So that's definitely a big kudos to the entire Piano Trends team, and certainly the podcasts are part of that. So again, big thanks to 216 Creator Studios for being a big part of that. Obviously, a big part of NAMM is running into musicians who many have heard of, or many maybe haven't heard of, but are very important. I think the first day meeting Danny Serafin, who was the drummer from Chicago from 1967 to 1990. And he's right up there with Keith Moon for that time period as far as just being super innovative and really contributing to the style that many drummers that came after follow. Also, huge coolness to meet Leland Sklar, bass player on over 25,000 recordings, touring, and still working. Mentioned, that he was still recently recording with Reba McEntire, and then, oh yes, and by the way, a couple days later, he was in the 2026 Grammy band. So I think that was super cool, and he is just a super cool guy. Took the time to meet everyone and sign autographs. So really neat. Got to briefly meet Guy Anzalone from Dragon Force, who's a favorite drummer of mine, and got my picture and with him. And I think maybe Cappuccino can put those pictures up here at some point. And so that was all super cool. Also got to attend a performance from, kind of a private performance from Mike Mangini, up till recently from Dream Theater. Again, NAMM, it's always awesome, always a reunion of friends, an opportunity to meet new friends, and always a great father-son trip in January to go out to California, where it's in the 60s and 70s when it's super cold out here in the Midwest. So other part of the video I wanted to make here is a bit of a challenge for our 216 Creator Studios crew, Cappuccino, Deke, and Nico. During many of the podcasts, you kind of say, I'm not a musician, or, I have very little musical background. And I think we need to change that for next year. So my challenge for you is to pick up an instrument. And it could be drums, it could be guitar, it could be the flute, it could be voice, or any of the other many instruments available at Piano Trends. And if you need help with that, or help hooking you up with lessons, I know a guy. And I just want you, we're not talking about becoming a professional on it, or even having to perform in public necessarily. But we want you to just gain an understanding of music, kind of what it is, how it works, the kind of language that it is, and kind of come back next year And after